Euro 2024 is just around the corner and we're less than 2 weeks away from England's first group game against Serbia. In today's video, I'm going to present to you my final 26-man England squad. Gareth Southgate has got to submit his by Friday. It will be announced on Saturday the 8th of June. We've got the 33-man squad here that we're going to go through. I'm going to tell you the players that I think might miss out. We've got to whittle it down by 7 and there's a lot of tough choices in there. Made tougher by some of the performances against Bosnia on Monday night. So we're going to go through that in today's video. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video and show some support. This is one of my first videos and I massively appreciate the love that I've seen so far. So thank you very much. So now let's get into it. So 33-man squad then. We've got the 4 keepers, Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford, Aaron Ramsdale, James Trafford. Pickford played 90 minutes against Bosnia on Monday. We've got the defenders. Obviously we've got a lot of issues in defence with some of the injuries as well. Harry Maguire is in a race to be fit for that first game. Let's be frank. Jared Brantwaite, Lewis Dunk, Joe Gomez, Mark Gay, Ezri Konsa, Harry Maguire, Jarell Quansah, Luke Shaw, John Stones, Kieran Trippier, and Kyle Walker. Trent Alexander-Arnold there listed as a midfielder. We've got Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher, Curtis Jones, Kobbie Mainoo, Declan Rice and Adam Orton, who was excellent on Monday. He was absolutely brilliant. Looked so at ease on his full England debut. We've got Jared Bowen, we've got Aberi Eze, who is again absolutely excellent for England, playing off that left-hand side, one to watch out for Spurs. Phil Foden, Anthony Gordon, Jack Grealish, who came on, Harry Kane, who came on and scored, James Maddison, who might be one of those names that are on the chopping block, Cole Palmer, Bukayo Saka, Ivan Toney, and Ollie Watkins. Now, this is going to be very, very difficult. I've whittled my squad down. I've managed to do it. This took me a while. I've got it here on my phone, and I'm going to go through it now. So we've got the Transfer Marked website here to go through. They've got a very handy tool that we're going to use for this video. So it allows us to go through each section of the squad and pick our players. Now, I think the goalkeepers are pretty straightforward. I think the only debate really is between Dean Henderson and James Trafford. I would personally go for Dean Henderson. I think they're going to be the third backup choice anyway. They're not really going to see any game time. So we're going to put in Jordan Pickford. We're going to put Aaron Ramsdale, who is the most capable backup. Obviously, it's a shame about Nick Pope's fitness. I think he came back towards the end of the season, Pope, didn't he? But was in a race against time for the Euros. And we're going to go for Dean Henderson as our final goalkeeper. Now we can go through to the defenders. So this Transfer Marked website does show all of the England players available. So these aren't just the players in the squad. So we've got a lot of players to go through, but obviously we're only picking from the 33-man squad. Now, obviously, it's got Trent Alexander-Arnold here listed as a defender. He is a midfielder in the 33-man squad. He was listed as that by Gareth Southgate. I like the idea of Trent in midfield. I wasn't massively convinced by his performance on Monday. I thought he was better at right back, but I do think his flexibility and the fact that he can play there is going to be so important to the squad. I thought he was brilliant when he moved over there, got his goal as well, and I think he could well start for that first game. And again, that is something we're going to do in this video as well. I've got my starting 11 for the first group game against Serbia as well that we're going to have a look at the end of the video. So I'm going to go ahead and get Trent straight in there as the first pick. Obviously, let's talk about some of the players as well that were quite unlucky to miss out. Obviously, the situation around Ben White has become clearer and clearer as we move on. We know what's happened there, or maybe we don't know what's truly happened, but we know the situation. Reece James sort of came back towards the end of the season, wasn't great for Chelsea. We've got Levi Colwill, who I thought would be in. I thought it'd be a pretty sure bet to be in that squad. Again, I think flexibility is so important when it comes to these tournaments. Players that can play right back and centre back and left back, like Levi Colwill can obviously play centre back and left back. There's a few players that can play at full back and centre back. We've got Ezri Konsa here as well, is one of those players for sure. We know about John Stones' flexibility, but we don't really see that for England. I think Levi Colwill was unlucky to miss out. I made a video on my TikTok page talking about some of the players that were unlucky to miss out. Go and follow that if you haven't already. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you probably have followed my TikTok. It's Ben Talks Football. Tomori, again, is one that always kind of generates debate, but there's not waste time talking about the players that aren't there. John Stones, easy pick. Whether John Stones is coming into this tournament warm enough is another question. He looks a bit shaky towards the end of the season for Manchester City. And it is a worry because he is our best defender. Again, we've got issues with Harry Maguire in terms of his fitness as well, but I think John Stones will start that first group game. I think he'll get through it okay. Mark Gay, I would definitely pick. I think he's a sure bet to be in there, and I think he could well start in that first group game as well. I thought he was pretty rusty in the game against Bosnia early this week, but again, fitness issues towards the end of the season, was out for quite a long time for Palace, came back. Naturally, you can forgive him for that. Next up, we have got Luke Shaw. I mean, Luke Shaw, again, is another one whose fitness kind of hangs in the balance for this tournament, really, which is a massive shame because England just don't have that same quality in terms of the cover that we do with Luke Shaw at left back. Ben Chilwell wasn't picked in the final 33-man squad, and I agree with that. I think he's been pretty poor. I don't really like him as a traditional left back anyway. I think Luke Shaw is by far the best pick. It's just his fitness. Who knows if he's going to be fit for that first group game, which is why Kieran Trippier is the next player in the squad, because I think if Kieran Trippier had a decent season for Newcastle, was statistically one of the best right backs in the Premier League, but I don't think his performance is necessarily actually stacked up to that. But I think he gets in, again, because of his versatility. We talked about players that can play multiple positions with Trent, with the likes of Ezri Konsa, who is my next pick. I didn't think Konsa was too great on Monday. I thought it was okay, but he's had a great season at Aston Villa. And again, his ability to play centre-back and right-back with those injury problems, I think he gets in, as does Joe Gomez. I would probably take Joe Gomez. I don't think Jarell Quansah is quite ready yet. I think we have to have a lot of defensive cover with the fitness issues. So I've gone for Gomez. Again, his ability to play left back, he kind of played all across that back four for Liverpool last season. Jared Brampthwaite is in. Super impressed with him this season. He's been absolutely superb. Again, probably a contender to maybe start that first game if Gareth Southgate picks him, which I think he will. Again, these are my picks. This isn't what I think Southgate will do, although I think we're pretty sure that he will probably go with these picks for the tournament anyway. I think the defence is a pretty safe bet. I don't think there's going to be too many shock exclusions from the 33-man squad. That's why Harry Maguire gets in there as well. Again, kind of sweating over his fitness, whether he will start in that first game. He's been so reliable for England. Kyle Walker, for me, gets in there. And now let's talk about some of the omissions, because for me, Lewis Dunk, I don't see it. I don't quite see it at this level for me. I thought he really struggled in the game against Belgium a while back, in the kind of last games coming into the tournament, really, in those last sets of games against Brazil and Belgium. I thought he was really, really poor. And I've not been impressed with him this season, to be honest. I think if there is an opportunity to hand it to some of the younger players at the expense of someone like Lewis Dunk, who have shown the quality throughout the season, like Branthwaite, like Mark Gay, I think they should be in there. Ezri Konsa as well. Who haven't we got then? I think that might be it. We've got 10 defenders. Let me just make sure I haven't missed anyone. Trent Alexander-Arnold, John Stones, Mark Gay, Luke Shaw, Ezri Konsa, Jared Branthwaite, Joe Gomez, Harry Maguire, Kyle Walker, and Kieran Trippier. I think we're good. Let me know in the comments whether you're happy with those defenders. I think, like I said, I think there were some players maybe unlucky to miss out on the squad overall, but I think this is what Gareth Southgate will go with. Trent, Gay, Konsa, Gomez, Walker, Stones, Shaw, Branthwaite, Maguire, Trippier. We've got 10 defenders in there. Handy reminds me at the top, because otherwise I would have lost track. Now, it does do the midfielders and strikers in one go, which is a bit annoying, but we're going to go for it. Look at some of the players here available, by the way, for us to pick from. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, look at some of these players. We've got Ellis Sims, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Patrick Bamford, Dele Alli. You know, he's targeting World Cup 2026. Could he be a late shout? Who knows? Ben Sheaf at Coventry as well. Jesse Lingard, Alfie Doughty listed as a midfielder/forward. Where's Mikey Moore at? Do you know what I'm saying? But obviously all the big boys, all the big hitters are at the top. So we've got 3 goalkeepers, 10 defenders. So we're halfway through the squad. So we've got 13 midfielders and attackers to pick from. Straight away, that top row, Bellingham, Foden, Saka, Harry Kane. They're all getting in. Those are all starters for England for me. Again, I'll go through my starting 11 towards the end of the video. Now, this row is where it gets very interesting in terms of some of the omissions, because the likes of James Maddison hasn't had a great end to the season for Spurs. We know that. James Maddison, one of the signings of the season, it looked like when he first came in, was on fire for Tottenham. I'm a Tottenham fan, obviously, was massively pleased with his performances, but coming back from injury, which I think hasn't helped him really, he's kind of... There is a decision to make around James Maddison. I think he could be one of those players very much on the chopping block. Again, Ollie Watkins, not massively impressive in an England shirt so far for me. He's been amazing for Aston Villa this season. Most amount of goals and assists in the Premier League, has been superb. Arguably a shout for Premier League Player of the Season, was probably unlucky to not get that, if we're being honest. But in terms of international football, I just haven't seen it yet. And that might be harsh. I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen it from him. And again, I don't think the way that how England play is necessarily geared up to the way that Ollie Watkins wants to play. But I think that means that Gareth Southgate won't take the chance on him. I wouldn't have Ollie Watkins in my squad, and that is crazy That is mental to say, really, when you consider how good that he has been. I just think there's no need to take 3 strikers, especially when you've got so much quality across that front 3. I think it's got to be Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney's getting in as my second striker. Look, Ivan Toney's been pretty cold towards the back end of the season. Again, not been picked by Brentford. We're not sure whether there's an injury problem there or whether it's because Brentford know that he's on the way out. But he's not been playing as well when he has actually been playing. Again, one of those players that we're looking to move on this summer as well, linked with Tottenham. I would quite like to see that. I think what he's got to offer, he's got such an all-round game. He's a brilliant striker. And I think in terms of the way that England want to play and the way that the system is geared up to get the best out of Harry Kane, for him to drop deep, link up the play, bring those other exciting attackers into play, I think Ivan Toney does that better than Ollie Watkins. And I think Ivan Toney would be my second choice striker. It's very harsh. It's very, very harsh. But I was so impressed with Toney against Belgium in the recent games in March. Like I said earlier, I thought he was superb. I thought he was absolutely superb. And I think he has got to be my second striker choice. So Toney is going in there. Cole Palmer's going in. Again, okay on Monday, to be fair. First international start. You can't expect too much, but he's been brilliant for Chelsea this season. He gets in there, can play off the right, can play through the middle as well, gives you that versatility. How much game time he will actually get remains to be seen, but I think he will be seen as that deputy for Bukayo Saka, who I think will start for England in most of the games. Now then, Declan Rice, of course, gets in there, starting holding midfielder. Jack Grealish, for me, I think he goes in. Again, hasn't had a great season for Man City. An injury hit season, of course. You have to bear that in mind. What he's done in an England shirt before has been really impressive. I know a lot of people don't like him. I know he kind of divides opinion in this England international team. I think people think that we maybe need someone more exciting, but I think his ball retention in the final third is really important. He dovetails really nicely with Luke Shaw. They've got a relationship. And again, Luke Shaw might not be fit for most of the game, so who really knows? But I think Jack Grealish off the bench, especially if you're winning, to just keep the ball in that final third. He knows how to win free kicks. He's such a clever player, and I think Grealish has got to go. Also for vibes, because we love Jack Grealish. Ebere Eze. Now, as you would have seen my first YouTube video, why Spurs should sign Ebere Eze. He is an incredible player, and we saw that on Monday. We saw that starting off that left-hand side, which is kind of where I'm hoping that he does play for Spurs. If he does come in, again, we're being very presumptuous there, but there has been a lot of strong links. I thought he was amazing. I thought he rode the challenges so well. A brilliant dribbler, jinking in and out. Again, similar to Grealish in terms of that profile. So explosive in the final third as well. I think he can bring you real quality off the bench. I don't think he'd necessarily push for a starting place from the start of the tournament, but if he impressed in some appearances off the bench, I think there could be a start for him later down the line. Who knows? But I think Ebere Eze has got to go in. I think Anthony Gordon goes in as well for me. Gordon's been superb this season. He's been superb. Electric off that left-hand side. A great presser, just like Ebere Eze is as well. Can get in behind. A good finisher in front of goal. So composed. I think Gordon's got to go in. Let's do some more midfielders then. Kobbie Mainoo, I think will go, and I think he should go. And I think he's pushing to start. I've been so impressed with Mainoo in an England shirt. I think there is that real debate, though, between who starts out of him and this man. Very low down. Adam Wharton. He's going straight in, and I think he starts. I think Adam Wharton could be that Calvin Phillips 2.0 from Euro 2021. I genuinely think that Adam Wharton has got a case to start that first group game against Serbia in a couple of Sundays' time. I think he's that good, that composed on the ball. I think he's got to go in. I think he offers such nice balance to that midfield as well with Bellingham and Rice. He's played as that 6. He's played as that number 8 as well. I love the way that he just got his head up, constantly scanning, just gives it and gets it, or gets it and gives it rather. Always got his head up, always wanted to play forward. So many chances came in that second half against Bosnia from Wharton's ability just to play that pass early. That's something Mainoo can do as well. Mainoo's great on the ball, but I think Wharton, he looked like something straight out of that Spain 2012 side. Obviously, that midfield, that excellent Spain midfielder, and I don't think I'm over-exaggerating there. I think the sky is the limit for Adam Wharton. And I think he goes in. The way that Southgate was talking after the game on Monday was almost intimating like he might not pick him. But again, he might be keeping his cards very close to his chest. I think he has to go, for me, personally. And I really think he could push to start. I think he's been absolutely superb. And amazing for Crystal Palace as well, when you look at kind of some of the players in here. That's me picking all the Crystal Palace boys as well. Where are we then? So we've got how many players in this squad? That leaves one more player. So before I tell you who that is, Let's go through some of the players that were unlucky to miss out from that 33. Jared Bowen, I thought was decent on Monday. But I just think with that firepower that we've got with Gordon, Eze, Palmer on that right-hand side as well as the deputy to Saka, I think Bowen just misses out. I think he's so unlucky because I think his tireless energy off that right-hand side as well. He's such a worker, knows how to sniff a goal. That was so unlucky on Monday when Ezri Konsa blocked his shot off the line. But I think he just misses out for me in favour of another midfielder. And that midfielder is not James Maddison. I hate to say it, but I think Maddison misses out. And I think I would probably take Eze over him as well. I just don't see how Maddison fits into this team as a starter. And I think we've got maybe better, more informed options off the bench. It'd be very interesting to see whether Southgate is loyal to Maddison because he has been very cutthroat with some of the exclusions from the squad, with Marcus Rashford, obviously Jordan Henderson as well. But I think Maddison misses out. I think it's harsh, I think it's unlucky, but I think he misses out. And I think that's probably fair. It's harsh, but fair. So my final midfielder, and again, I don't think a lot of people are going to like this because people weren't particularly inspired by his performance on Monday. I think when space opened up in the second half, I thought it was a lot better. I think, again, in these tournaments, sometimes you need players that are just going to give you that energy, that drive, someone to hold it down to come off the bench. I don't necessarily think he's a starter, although he did start on Monday alongside Trent in midfield. And that's Conor Gallagher. That's Conor Gallagher. And that's our final squad. That is the final squad there. Ramsdale, Pickford, Henderson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who, again, can sort of double up as a midfielder there. Mark Gay, Ezri Konsa, Joe Gomez, Kyle Walker, John Stones, Luke Shaw, Jared Brantwaite, Harry Maguire, Kieran Trippier, Bellingham, Saka, Rice, Palmer, Gordon, Gallagher, Wharton, Foden, Harry Kane, Jack Grealish, Ivan Toney, Ebere Eze and Kobbie Mainoo. Let me know what you disagree with in that before we quickly get to the starting 11. And the starting 11 that I think could play against Serbia in that first game. I think there's a lot of tough decisions to be made in this squad. I think we've done that. But I think this is the squad that gives us the best chance to win Euro 2024. I think it's got a lot of flexibility in there, especially in the defence. I think that midfield balance is really, really nice. And I think we've got real firepower when it comes to the forwards. Let's go then to the starting 11. What I think will be the starting 11. I've gone for Pickford in goal. I've gone for a 4-3-3, although kind of in-game this might play slightly differently. Trent at right back, I thought it was so impressive in that second half against Bosnia. Stones and Gay, again, both a little bit undercooked, but more ready than Maguire. I think Brantwaite could push for a start. And I'd probably go for Trippier at left back because I think that's really the only option we've got. You could play Brantwaite over there maybe and sort of let him tuck in and play this as a back three and let Trent sort of push on in here into midfield and create that box and really overload teams. I would quite like to see that. But I think he'll go with Trippier and I think it's probably the right option. Bellingham, Rice and Adam Wharton. I said it in a TikTok video earlier on this week. I think he should be pushing to start. I think he's Calvin Phillips from Euro 2021 2.0, coming into the tournament almost as the guy that you think, oh, okay, deserves it off the back of a decent season, giving the young lad a chance. But I think he'll get in there and impress. And I think he could get in and stay in. Although I would be happy if it was Kobbie Mainoo as well. Again, a lot of people want to see Foden maybe drop back into that position and maybe have someone like an Eze or a Grealish on this side. I think Grealish starting does give you a lot of control in bigger games as well, and I think we might see that further down the line. And people want to see these two together. People want to see Bellingham and Foden playing together as those two number 10s. When you think of Germany and you think of the fact that they're going to play with Wirtz and Musiala as those two exciting 10s, I think England fans want to see that, and I want to see that as well. But I think this formation gives you a lot of flexibility. The only problem is that Trippier is not going to hold that width because he's right-footed. He wants to come inside. So that means that Foden will probably have to do more of a job on this left-hand side, holding the width, rather than drifting inside, which is where we want him, in those pockets, being dangerous in and around the box, linking up with Harry Kane, linking up with Bellingham. So once you get Luke Shaw back fit into this team, I think this works a lot better. And that's why maybe Brantwaite should potentially come in, because you've got players like Wharton who could drift out there. He was comfortable in those channels. Again, he's not going to hold the width high up the pitch, but it might just allow Foden to sort of drift inside a little bit more. Yeah, that would be my starting 11. That would be my starting 11. I think there are a few changes that you could make, but I think that's a pretty exciting team. Again, not perfect with some of the injuries that we've got, but I like it. And I feel confident about this summer. I do. I feel really confident. I think England are going to go all the way. And I might be jinxing it. Who knows? But could we? Could we go all the way? Could we go all the way, boys and girls? I think with this team and this squad, I think we can go all the way. Let me know in the comments below what you change. Players that you think I've been maybe a bit too harsh on, players that definitely should be in there. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more England content. There's going to be a lot coming over the Euros, touching on different aspects of the tournament as well, different teams. A lot of focus on England, and make sure you like the video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.